of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on here today was you tweeted something that I saw. You basically said it's frustrating for you when talking heads in the college basketball sphere, like us, try to tell Kentucky fans how to feel or try to articulate how they are feeling in that moment. And it kind of hit me like, yeah, we do that a little bit too. So you it's a weird situation for Kentucky right now, right? You're back to being really good again. You have this coach that everyone seems to absolutely adore, and the guy that you kind of pushed out is also having some success. So let's start with this. Where are you guys right now as Kentucky fans with Mark Pope? I think I know what the answer for this is going to be.
Well, they're through the roof. You've talked about this a lot, and I actually think you've articulated it as good as I've heard anybody in the national media. Kentucky fans need to be loved, right? They need to have their coach not only win, which is most important, but they need to be loved and they need to feel like they're one of them. And it was just over with Calipari here. I wish Cal the best. I think it's pretty impressive he's been able to turn it around there, but it wasn't going to work here. It was over here. There's no way he could have come back and it not be toxic. Mark Pope has been everything Cal wasn't in the last few years. He's connected with the fans. Sunday was a very nerve-wracking game for Kentucky fans, not because they were going to get mad at him. I mean, I kept hearing these national media people say, oh, there's so much pressure on Pope. There wasn't from the fans. But we didn't want to listen to people like you all tell us that we did the wrong thing because we know we did the right thing. So by him winning Sunday, now it makes it to where you make the second weekend, which Cal hadn't done since 2019. And I think Kentucky fans feel great about where they are. I mean, he gets an A, and if he beats Tennessee in the Sweet 16, might become an A plus in year one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's done an incredible job, and I wonder what were your feelings initially though, because they missing some guys. We know that. I mean, Scott Drew went out there and he didn't take it, and Nate Oates wasn't really interested, and they missing some guys that. But they missed on guys back when they got Cal. We know that whole situation, right? Billy Donovan, I think it was Donovan, Jay Wright, maybe Izzo. When they got Mark Pope, were you all in right away, or were you kind of a little bit hesitant like me of like, well, I love Pope as a guy, but I don't know if he's going to get it done at Kentucky. What he's done this year has been amazing to me. But where were you the moment you heard it's going to be Mark Pope? What was your first reaction?
Yeah, you got to go through the process. So, like, I mean, I think it was Danny Hurley and Scott Drew were the first two they wanted. Probably Scott Drew won, Danny Hurley too. And I thought there was a moment where I think they thought Drew was going to take it, and then he didn't. Hurley was more like, you got to take a shot, and it didn't happen. So then there was a list of like 6 coaches. And I thought personally that they were very close to hiring Bruce Pearl. And I think the administration maybe shot that down. I mean, the Pearl people will tell you they weren't interested. I think they were. But regardless, I got a phone call about 20 minutes before it broke that said, I was expecting it to be the phone call that said, we're hiring Bruce Pearl. And they said Mark Pope. And yeah, my first reaction was, oh no. Like, not because I didn't think he could do it. I just didn't think our fan base was going to like it. And it's one of the more amazing cultural changes of like mass psychology I've ever seen. That night, which was a Thursday night, the fan base was not thrilled. But then they ended up getting a pledge of $5 million in NIL. Mitch Barnhart, the AD, did a really good interview on my show that I thought really sold people on it. And 24 light hours later, everybody was all in. And since then, it's been a slam dunk for Pope. But I think the initial moment for me and others was, oh no, we thought we were getting somebody big. But in the end, it worked out. And I think they got the perfect person. You got to give Barnhart a lot of credit.
So Matt, you see the things that Pope does after games, right? Like the one that sticks out to me is he runs up the stairs to the second deck at Mississippi State, and he's taking selfies with a young Kentucky fan that was in a wheelchair that couldn't get down to the court. There was one where I saw he stood next to one kid who could FaceTime his grandma because his grandma wanted to see Mark Pope. Like it feels like he understands more than anybody that I've seen what it means to be a Kentucky fan and with the responsibility that the person in the seat that he has should feel, and how how he needs to act to be able to get that fan base behind him. Have you seen anybody that's been able to kind of embrace being the Kentucky head coach and how unique of a job that is before?
Nobody's been better at that part of the job. I mean, Cal was really good at it the first few years in a different way, but nobody's been better than Pope. You know, Tyler is a Carolina guy. I spent a lot of time in Durham when I went to Duke Law, and I went to Carolina games, and then, you know, I've been Indiana's right here. Those are the most passionate fan bases, but it's different here. Like, there's a cultural, social part of this job that goes beyond winning. And when Calipari first got here, he really embraced that, and he made people feel like we were insane, but he loved us. And by the end, he made us feel like we're insane, now stay away from me, right? And like, that difference was a big difference. Mark Pope is just as insane as we are. You know that dorky video when he was at BYU where he's doing the CATS and he's wearing the uniform and it's kind of cringe, but it's also like we're kind of cringe, right? I mean, we're weird. The number one cold cereal in America today was Weetabix because Amari Williams said in the post-game press conference he liked it. If you went to Amazon, the number one sold cereal in America today was Weetabix because our Kentucky fan base is so crazy. So Pope is part of that. He gets it. He played with it. He played for it. And like, people say he's one of us. He is one of us for real. And Kentucky's not had that since Joe B. Hall, which was before I was alive when he became coach. So I think the fan base loves it. They eat it up. I've never seen people be as energized about Kentucky basketball probably since 2015, the 38 in 1 year. But honestly, it's a connection that kind of reminds me of those 90s teams, the way they just loved it so much. The fact these guys are seniors from weird schools that don't usually end up at Kentucky, I think that all helps.
No, it's amazing to be able to do that with a group that was thrown together. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, again, they have one and dones. We know that, plenty of them. But this group that was just thrown together, crazy. All right, Matt, here's my hypothetical for you. Which would you rather? We'll play a game. Would you rather Kentucky win one more game and get to the Elite Eight, or would you rather Arkansas lose, not get to the Final Four? So basically, you get a pick.
Yeah, we got to beat Tennessee. If you're going to get Kentucky fans to be, if the game wasn't Tennessee, that might be a different conversation. But our biggest rival is Louisville. But our second biggest rival is Tennessee. And we really don't like Tennessee. And Tennessee's never made a Final Four, which is something we like to make fun of a lot here. Yeah. You know, they have banners they have no Final Fours ever. Probably the best. Are they the best program in America that's never made a Final Four? Might be, actually. So if you could beat Tennessee, you would rather have it. With that said, if Kentucky fans are honest, the vast majority of them do not want Arkansas to go to the Final Four. Cal still has supporters here. I mean, it's not like everyone hates him, but I do think people don't want to listen to Kentucky fans are online more than any other fan base. You all three know that. So because of that, we fight with everybody, right? We fight with every fan base. We fight with every journalist. I think Kentucky fans don't want to listen to Arkansas fans talk trash to them for the next 6 months. But really, beat Tennessee. I think Kentucky fans would love to beat Houston or Purdue and go to the Final Four. But if they can beat Tennessee, this will be like one of the all-time years for Kentucky. Because think about it. I mean, I didn't think this team, I just wanted this team to make the tournament. I thought they were one player short from even being necessarily a tournament team. And for them to get to the Sweet 16, they've been good all year. It's not like they just went on a run. They've been good all year. Beat Duke, beat Gonzaga, beat Louisville, beat Tennessee twice, beat Florida. People are very excited.